G'day, it's Jimmy Bartell.
And Bruce Eva. Our podcast, Yesterday's Heroes, covers all sports.
Honestly, what are you bringing to the table, Beaver?
The knowledge.
Let's test it. How many test wickets did Uak McGrath take?
563.
How many laps around Mount Panorama?
I told you this the other week, 161.
As usual, I wasn't listening to you. Who's winning the Ashes?
Well, that's up to us to debate.
No debate. We'll absolutely romp it in, so listen to me for your tips.
And to me to sound sports smart.
Well, listen to both of us. Subscribe to Yesterday's Heroes wherever you get your podcast.
New episodes every Thursday, thanks to PointsBet.
So surely but steady, the demolition work is underway for the CBD building in Surry Hills, which was absolutely gutted by that massive blaze, one of the biggest fires we've seen in Sydney in decades. James Wilson, the Nine News reporter, is on the scene near Randall Street, where we know a lot of the roads are closed as this work gets underway. It is very slow, but deliberately so, James.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is an operation with paperwork and all things considered that would normally take around 12 months. So to get to this point, 6 days on, is pretty incredible. We've got this massive 60-tonne long-arm excavator that is now in place, ready to go. All the preparation work has been done. The next stage or the next flurry of activity here, Deb, will be this crane, this long arm reaching up and starting to drill away at the at one of these walls that kind of points right up high into the sky. So, look, maybe half an hour away is what I've been told. I can see emergency services down on the ground kind of going over their last few plans, because while it is a demolition job, it's also a police investigation. And what's going to be happening is, while they chip away at layers of this factory, police will send in cadaver dogs and try and get in there themselves to search for any bodies that remain under the rubble. We do know that there was a number of homeless people who slept in this building, and there are reports that some of them are still missing. So it's kind of a two-pronged, phase here at the moment.
And I understand they've also been putting massive steel plates on some of the adjoining roadway because, of course, underground there's a lot of services that need to be protected.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously these walls that they're going to be drilling into, the idea is to drill them from the outside so they collapse and fall into the middle of the burnt-out structure. But, of course, you've got apartments on either side, an office block across the road, and two apartment blocks on the other side on Chalmers Street that have been evacuated because of the structural, concerns with this factory. So if bricks were to topple down or walls were to fall and crumble onto surrounding buildings, that's going to cause significant damage, of course, to the road below too. So it's going to be precarious. There's a lot of people kind of standing around with their phones. It's a bit of a spectacle to see what happens next. But we're not too far away from whatever that might look like.
Yeah, and a lot of residents, because of those neighbouring buildings, I think there's more than 100 residents who obviously want to get back into their homes. Roads are closed as this work does continue. And there has been one more young person handed themselves into police. Yeah,
a fourth boy. So at the moment, police have identified that fourth boy. We believe to be aged 12 or 13. But it sounds like at the moment, Deb, this boy or his family have hired lawyers, and the lawyers have been making legal representation to police, which basically says that he won't be talking to officers at this point. So families of these boys, lawyering up, and things are starting to get quite ugly, I guess you could say. No charges are being laid yet, but given their ages, the fact that they're 10 to 13 years old, police will have to prove that they were completely aware of the intention behind lighting the fire if criminal charges were to go ahead, and that in itself is extremely hard. It's why you never really hear about many 10 to 13-year-olds being criminally charged, because the police need to prove intent. So, the potential that it's just going to be a youth caution, but that's all up in the air right now.
Yeah, and of course the investigation does need to be carried out once that demolition work is done, about to get underway. Good on you, James. We'll check in with you throughout the afternoon.
Thanks, Deb.
James Wilson there, Nine News reporter, as the very slow but steady work continues to bring down the wreck, the now charred remains of that multi-storey heritage listing former hat building that was meant to be renovated into a luxury hotel. But yes, no chance of that, with the building itself being brought down in a controlled way and a safe way, and then that investigation will get underway.
Deb Knight's Book of the Month.
Jo Baker, the acclaimed author of the Sunday Times bestseller Longbourn, has just released her new novel called The Midnight News. This is a love story, a war story, and an unforgettable journey of a young woman living through the Blitz, battling to outwit and unmask a killer that no one else believes exists. All with a dash of a love story on the side. It all makes for a great read. The Midnight News by Joe Baker, available now where all good books are sold.
Hi, Phil Gould here. Love your rugby league? Then you'll want to hear my take on every round of NRL season in my podcast, 6 Tackles with Gus. Get it every Wednesday afternoon, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks to Bluebet, just search 6 Tackles with Gus.